Mirror Container is a notorious wall that causes many issues to most players, even those at the top end. Allyane here with a guide for Mirror Container in campaign. So, let us begin with the mechanics and also break down each step at a time as we progress through Mirror Container. Mirror Container will open with a crystal barrage. That barrage is iframeable and the crystals can also be destroyed through damage. I personally would recommend iframing them with the specific Nikke targeted so that you can keep as much uptime during phase 1. Do keep in mind that if you simply cover them, they also tend to cleave adjacent Nikkes a little bit, so do be careful with the damage a little bit in that regard. It will then follow up with a glass slipper that will spawn, and will do a laser beam before auto-destroying itself. This laser beam can be blocked through shields, such as Crown Shield, and the glass slipper can be destroyed before it shoots its laser. Do keep in mind, you only get one shot, so don't miss your chance to blow, in a similar fashion to phase 2 glass slippers that we will see later. If you do not break them with one singular hit, it will go immune and will not break until it shoots its laser and destroys itself. There is a very important optimization to keep in mind here. You want to break those specific slippers as late as humanly possible, or even let them just shoot the laser if you can block it with shields. The reason for this is that it will delay further down the Mirror Container transition into phase 2, and this is incredibly important because you want to delay that transition as much as possible. Phase 1 is its most vulnerable state that you will see throughout the fight. It doesn't have any shields, it doesn't have much going for it, so you can do as much damage during that phase. Once that glass slipper laser is done, Mirror Container will then follow with a Gatling gun. It will always target the highest attack Nikke with a very small delay between the 2 hits of Gatling gun. Now, if the Gatling gun is taunted, of course it will be going to the taunted Nikke, but that Gatling gun does quite a bit of damage, so you want to cover with the Nikke that gets targeted, so that you can save up some HP. The reason why you don't want to go too low is because it might bite you in the ass in phase 2. Once that Gatling gun is done, Mirror Container will then follow up with another glass slipper, immediately followed by another double Gatling gun attack. After that, it will do yet again another Gatling gun before immediately following that Gatling gun with a crystal barrage. As soon as the crystal barrage is done, Mirror Container will spawn an elemental shield. Elemental shields are very important because they can only be pierced by Nikkes that have elemental advantage over that shield. In this case, the shield is blue, it can only be pierced with electro-coated Nikkes. Within that elemental shield, Mirror Container will spawn 2 interruption circles. If you fail these interruption circles, it will lead to an instant wipe. But you don't want to clear them too quickly. You want to clear the second circle as late as possible so you can squeeze as much damage as humanly possible before entering phase 2 fog wall. The reason for that yet again is because phase 1 is Mirror Container's most vulnerable state. Now, during the fog wall transition, you will have to break as quickly as humanly possible. Again, 4 circles separated by white circles. The white circles, if broken, will trigger an instant wipe. As such, you want to be very careful with them because they're very fragile. Once you have cleared these transition circles, you will enter phase 2. In phase 2, Mirror Container will gain a massive amount of defense. This is due to its 4 layers of shields, each granting a massive amount of defense each, making the damage of your Nikkes go very, very low as a result. Unless they do true damage. There is a very important optimization here. Before gaining the shield, it is possible to squeeze in 1 full burst to get some additional damage before it becomes obscenely tanky. Once it's gained its layers of shields, however, Mirror Container will swap its Gatling gun to a laser gun. In a similar fashion to the Gatling gun, the laser Gatling gun will always target your highest attack Nikkes, unless taunted. It will follow up this laser Gatling gun with its first crystal missile. The crystal missile is, as far as I can tell, not iframeable, and when it lands on a Nikke, it will also do cleave damage to adjacent Nikkes as well. You can destroy it using damage and attacks on it. I personally wouldn't recommend it because it's a lot of damage wasted, but if the damage is too much and you can afford the damage, you can break them. Otherwise, I would recommend trying to shield them, just to maximize that uptime on the boss. Mirror Container will then make its first glass slipper visible for a period of time. You have some time before it retracts it, so do wait and try to be patient a little bit with it. You want to break them as quickly as possible, but you have to keep something in mind, and this is a very important optimization, as the glass slipper will do quite a bit of damage during its appearance. You want to break it as soon as possible. However, because Mirror Container will front load all of its defense with its 4 layers of defense, it will be by far the hardest glass slipper to break due to that defense. So you want to have full burst during that moment, and if you're running leader, you want to use the leader buff to break that glass slipper. Otherwise, you might fail due to the lack of damage because of that mechanic of only getting 1 shot to break them. Now, once you have broken the glass slipper, you will have another laser attack followed by the next glass slipper. Mirror Container will essentially alternate glass slipper and Gatling laser guns until you have broken the 4th glass slipper. Now, once you have broken the final 4th glass slipper, you want to unleash as much damage as possible to Mirror Container because it's yet again fully vulnerable with no defense. During this window, you will be able to unleash quite a bit of damage before it transitions into its final phase. Now, there is a very important optimization here, is that you can min-max damage a little bit using S&E's burst instead of Ein if you're following a similar timeline to the one that I followed, where in this window, Ein burst would be what would be happening. Instead, you could use Summer Anise and just do the damage with Summer Anise so that you can save the burst from Ein for the final phase. This will be important and it will make sense later on. Once the small respite is over, Mirror Container will spawn yet again all of its layers of defense while also making an elemental shield appear. Within this elemental shield, you will have 2 circles and it will start spinning like an absolute mad lad. So the Mirror Container final interruption circles are incredibly difficult to break due to the layers of defense. They're obscenely tanky. What you can do here is use Ein Burst and hopefully kill Mirror Container in this phase, because ideally you want to kill Mirror Container before these circles go off. If the circles go off, it will be an instant wipe. If you do have the damage, however, to break those circles, what will happen afterwards is that Mirror Container will go back into its phase 2 mode, where it will do lasers, a little bit of crystal missiles, and spawn its glass slippers all over again. So ideally, you want to kill Mirror Container before it resets again, because it will be incredibly tanky, very high defense, etc. And this will be it for my Mirror Container guide. I hope this guide will help you guys clear Mirror Container. If you're looking for team building ideas and the like, my Mirror Container Anomaly guide has all of the team building ideas that also work for campaign push. In the meantime, with this out of the way, Allyane out, and catch you guys on the next video.